friends, Christian here with Big Life Crisis again. Today we're taking a look at a LEGO Star Wars set. This is the Tracker 1. It's set number 75185. Consists of 557 pieces, including 3 minifigures plus a probe droid build. The set is recommended for ages 8 to 14, and I got it on clearance, so I figured what the heck, let's go ahead and check it out. On the back of the box, you can get a little bit of a better idea of what it's going to look like when it's all assembled. As you can see, we've got kind of a strange, almost three-winged TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor type thing. This is from the Freemaker Adventures, which is a non-canonical Star Wars animated series produced by LEGO. So there are some characters that are familiar, like the Emperor, and then some maybe not so familiar characters like Rowan. We'll take a closer look at them in just a moment. But this set has been in the backlog for a while, and I finally decided to just go ahead and break it open and build it up. So let's take a look and see what we think. Alright, here we have it, set number 75185, the Tracker 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at each of these minifigures, and then we'll take a look at the major build. First up we have Rowan. He's the young hero from the Freemaker Adventures series. He has a blue lightsaber with a silver hilt. He's got a nice hairpiece, slightly dark skin tone, kind of dark tan, I guess you'd say. I like the torso print. It's a nice jacket that he's got on, and on the back the torso print continues with the Freemaker insignia on the back. In addition, he also includes his flight helmet, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. And here he is with that flight helmet. There's no alternate face for this guy, and you'll notice he does have the young adolescent legs, so those do not bend, and he has a little bit shorter stature than a typical minifigure. Overall, this guy's not too bad. Next up we have Emperor Palpatine with some Force lightning. This is a pretty standard Palpatine figure. We've seen him before. With the Force lightning removed, you can get a little bit better look at the print on the torso, which is pretty good. He's got a sufficiently mean and scary face. Those eyes are really menacing. The cloth cape is nice, and it can flip up a little bit easier than the older ones could, but not that it matters. There's not really any print back there. There is an alternate face, which is a little bit self-satisfied maybe, not quite as menacing as the other one, but not a bad figure if you don't already have them. Next up is the MOC Hunter Droid, and this is, as the name would suggest, a bounty hunter droid, and he pilots the ship and goes out to find Rowan for the Emperor. He wields 2 red lightsabers with black hilts. Let's go ahead and remove those and we can get a better look at the figure. The print on this one is pretty good, and it goes all the way down from the torso down onto the waist, legs, even down to the toes. It's a custom molded head with a little bit of print on it, and then some interesting pauldrons up there as well, and on the back there's a clip so that you can store at least one of his lightsabers. Let's go ahead and remove that pauldron. You can see the back print. And there we can see a little bit better the back printing on this guy. Again, front print pretty good. Not necessarily my favorite character. The head sculpt is a little goofy. I've seen a few of the episodes of the Freemaker Adventures, but I have not yet seen this guy in that series, nor have I seen the Tracker 1 spacecraft. But I guess it's kind of fun to have some expanded universe type things in your collection, yeah. And here we have the probe droid. This one is one that we've seen before on Hoth sets and things like that. It's not a bad build. They use the old agent's pistols as the lower portion of the legs, and then droid arms for the upper portion. There's a single red stud as a robotic eye or camera, whatever you might want to call it. Not a bad little build, and along with the Emperor, this is the only truly canon piece of this entire set. A nice little addition, they have included this trans-clear antenna piece and radar dish to be able to pose this figure and make it kind of look like he's just floating like he's supposed to be. And here we have the Tracker 1 ship. This vehicle is rather tall, and I can't really get it all in frame while it's on the tripod, so this is the lower portion, and it is built basically as a cylinder with 3 wings attached to the side. And they've done a pretty good job of trying to replicate the detailing. Of course, you've got anti-studs on one side and studs on the other. There's no real helping that, but they've done a pretty good job trying to get it to match up. There are 3 of these cockpit pieces. These are the X-Wing cockpits, which are fantastic. So it's really cool to get 3 of those in this set. And there are lots of wing pieces in both black and dark gray, which is also nice. Basically what we have here is 3 separate little hatches that open up. This one reveals basically a prison. There's a ladder piece or a bar piece that folds down, and we can put our prisoner in there. There we go. It's a lot easier if you have kid-sized hands. So once the Mach Hunter droid gets him, you can put him in that little prison and take him back to the Emperor. There is kind of a fun little feature though. If we open up the door on the other side, you can see, first of all, the red, there's a ladder that leads up. I guess that's to simulate being able to get up into the cockpit area, which is on the top portion. But it's a little tough to see, but down there, right about there, there's a little Technic wheel. And if we open up this hatch, and from the other side, if we can move that Technic wheel, that activates a little Technic piece inside down here. This is all really tough to see, I think. But basically, you can make your figure jump out and escape from the prison cell, which is kind of a fun little play feature. The door on the other side just gives us a little bit of room in there to pretend like you're storing some cargo or something like that. But that little gray piece back there is the one that flips open to let Rowan escape. Up here at the top section, we have a cockpit. We have a clip that allows you to store some handcuffs. And then if we flip it around again, there's another clip on the opposite side that allows you to store a blaster. On the other side, we have a little bit better look at the cockpit area. And there's a seat right here. We can also see one of the 2 control panels that are hinged on these arms and then fold in. So this cockpit is a little bit unique. It's tough to see maybe, but there's a couple of studs there that are facing up, and so the figure actually kind of stands up almost, or lies down in this position. So his head is facing the camera. So looking at it from the front, looking down, that's the head of the figure, so he's kind of facing forward. When you close the cockpit, it kind of flies this way, I suppose. There are 2 control panels there that the pilot can access. Yeah, I guess that's about it for the cockpit. It's a little quirky, but it works, I suppose. The wings, as I say, are really tall, go well above my set here. And you can see they've got some, I don't know if those are supposed to be lights or laser cannons, something like that. But that's kind of an interesting look. And then over here, on each wing, we have a spring-loaded shooter. And those work the way you would expect. You just flick them at the end and they go flying. If I put the craft on its side, then you can get a little bit better idea of the size and scope of this thing. I put the minifigures down there for the sense of scale. But this right here is an X-Wing cockpit, to give you a little bit better idea. So this is a little bit wider at the back than the X-Wing fuselage is, and not quite as long, of course, but just to give you some idea. The overall design of this thing is a matter of personal opinion. It's okay. I wish this was a little more pointed. It's kind of a snub-nosed kind of a thing, and all of the angular stuff is in the wings, but this just kind of looks flat. So I think if I were to modify this at all, I might think of adding a cone or something to the front of that, or at least a different type of dish. They've just got that the big black dish there, and it, I don't know, just kind of looks flat. Incidentally, underneath that and throughout the build. They have these kind of unique pieces that I think were originally part of the Nexo Knight stuff. You can put the Nexo Knight shields in each of these 3 sections, but they've used 4 or 5 of these to act as a structure for the body. So there's one up here, there's a couple down here, another 1 or 2 down here. So anyway, just thought that was interesting. This set originally retailed for $70, 70, which I think is way too much, frankly. I picked this up over the summer, so 6 months ago or something like that, and I got it for 50% off, $34.98 at Target, which is still probably a little more than I would have wanted to pay for this ordinarily, but there's a pretty good selection of parts here, which is great for mocks. The ship itself, this version, doesn't thrill me too much, and the minifigures don't either. But as I say, there are lots of good parts for mocks and things, so if you happen to be able to find one of these, it might be worth picking up just for that. Alright, that about wraps it up for this one. This has been Christian with Brick Life Crisis. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below, and as always, thanks for watching. May the Force be with you. Bye for now.
Dang it!
And no alternate face for this guy. Yes, there is.